The Mermaid Malarkey, a fantastic roast of the Little Mermaid's absurdities. Ahoy, dear listener! Today, we dive deep into the ocean blue to explore the ridiculous, logic-defying world of the 1989 Disney classic, The Little Mermaid. Prepare for a tidal wave of laughter as we uncover the many absurdities lurking beneath the surface of this beloved tale of love, adventure, and questionable aquatic biology. First and foremost, let's address the elephant, or should we say, the whale, in the room, Ariel's voice. Our young mermaid protagonist is blessed with the voice of an angel, a gift so powerful that it's able to captivate the heart of a human prince from afar. But let's be real here, how exactly does Ariel's singing manage to travel so seamlessly through the water and up to the surface? Last time I checked, sound doesn't travel too well underwater, especially when it comes to the dulcet tones of a teenage mermaid. But hey, who needs the laws of physics when you've got the magic of Disney on your side? Speaking of magic, let's talk about the film's resident sea witch, Ursula. This devious villainess possesses an impressive array of dark powers, including the ability to transform herself and others at will. And yet, despite her vast magical prowess, Ursula opts to manipulate the love lives of unsuspecting merfolk as her primary source of amusement. One can't help but wonder if there's a secret underwater chapter of The Real Housewives that we don't know about, where Ursula stars as the resident pot stirrer and drama queen. Now, let's discuss the film's portrayal of aquatic life. From Sebastian the melodramatic crab to Flounder the cowardly fish, the ocean is teeming with colorful, anthropomorphic sea creatures who are more than happy to offer their assistance to Ariel in her quest for true love. But as charming as these characters may be, it's hard to ignore the numerous biological inaccuracies that abound in their depictions. For example, how exactly does a crab like Sebastian manage to play the piano with those unwieldy claws of his? And don't even get me started on Flounder, a character who, despite his name, is clearly not a flounder at all. It's enough to make any marine biologist's head spin. As we venture further into the depths of the Little Mermaid's illogical ocean, we come across one of the most baffling aspects of the film, Ariel's bargain with Ursula. In exchange for her voice, Ariel is granted a pair of human legs so she can pursue her handsome prince on land. But there's just one catch. She must make Prince Eric fall in love with her and seal the deal with a kiss in just 3 days, or else she'll be transformed back into a mermaid and become Ursula's prisoner forever. Setting aside the absurdly tight deadline, one has to wonder why Ariel didn't simply ask Ursula to whip up a potion that would make Eric fall in love with her instantly. Surely that would have been a more efficient use of her magical resources. But then again, where's the fun in a fairy tale without a little high-stakes drama? Continuing our snarky exploration, we can't help but question the entire premise of Ariel's fascination with the human world. For someone who lives in an underwater utopia filled with singing sea creatures, magical trinkets, and her very own royal palace, Ariel seems remarkably eager to abandon it all in pursuit of a life on land. Sure, humans may have their own unique charms, and an impressive collection of forks, apparently, but are they really worth giving up everything she knows and loves? It's like trading in a tropical vacation for a weekend at a budget motel, but hey, to each their own, I suppose. And then there's King Triton, Ariel's overbearing yet well-meaning father. As the ruler of the underwater kingdom, Triton wields a magical trident that grants him near-limitless power. And yet, despite his vast capabilities, he's unable to simply locate his missing daughter and bring her back to the safety of their underwater realm. Perhaps he should invest in a magical GPS device to help him keep tabs on his rebellious teenage mermaid. Next up, we must address the age-old question of mermaid anatomy. Throughout the film, Ariel and her fellow merfolk are depicted as having the upper body of a human and the lower body of a fish. But how exactly does this peculiar hybrid form function in practice? How do mermaids digest their food? How do they, reproduce? And where, pray tell, are their internal organs located? These are the burning questions that keep marine biologists and Disney enthusiasts awake at night, and yet, they remain frustratingly unanswered. Let's not forget the film's iconic musical numbers, which are as toe-tapping as they are utterly nonsensical. Take Under the Sea, For example, a catchy tune in which Sebastian extols the virtues of life beneath the waves. But as we've already established, sound doesn't travel too well underwater, so it's a bit baffling that Ariel and her aquatic friends are able to pull off such a rousing, Broadway-worthy performance. And then there's Kiss the Girl, a song in which Sebastian encourages Eric to lock lips with Ariel while they're serenaded by a chorus of animals. Because nothing says romance like being watched by a bunch of nosy wildlife. As we approach the film's thrilling conclusion, we're treated to a dramatic showdown between Ursula and Ariel's aquatic allies. In a desperate bid to save their friend, Sebastian and Flounder team up with a motley crew of marine life to take on the fearsome sea witch. It's a valiant effort, to be sure, but one can't help but wonder how these tiny creatures are able to pose any real threat to a powerful sorceress like Ursula. It's like watching a bunch of ants take on a fire-breathing dragon, admirable, but ultimately futile. And of course, we can't discuss The Little Mermaid without mentioning Scuttle, the seagull who serves as Ariel's primary source of information about the human world. With an impressive repertoire of misidentified objects and a penchant for dispensing questionable advice, Scuttle is the embodiment of the phrase, "A little knowledge is a dangerous thing." It's a wonder Ariel didn't end up with a fork permanently lodged in her hair, considering her trust in Scuttle's expertise. Now, let's talk about Ariel's trusty sidekick, Flounder. Flounder is a tropical fish who somehow manages to survive in the cold Atlantic waters off the coast of Denmark. We can only assume that he's powered by some sort of magical fish heater, or perhaps he's just perpetually wrapped in an invisible fish blanket. Either way, it's an impressive feat of biology that is never quite explained. Speaking of unexplained phenomena, how is it that Ariel's hair always manages to look so fabulous, despite the fact that she's constantly submerged in water? Anyone who's ever tried to maintain a decent hair day at the beach knows that salt water and hair are not exactly a match made in heaven. And yet, Ariel's signature red locks remain perpetually voluminous and frizz-free. I guess mermaid hair products are just that good. As we delve deeper into the film, we find ourselves confronted with the eternal conundrum of mermaid fashion. Ariel and her sisters all sport a variety of seashell bras, which, while undoubtedly stylish, seem somewhat impractical for daily wear. How do these delicate garments stay in place? Are they affixed with some sort of magical adhesive? Or perhaps mermaids have developed a specialized set of chest muscles specifically for this purpose? Alas, we may never know the truth. And let's not forget Prince Eric, Ariel's dashing love interest. Despite being a member of royalty, Eric spends an alarming amount of time wandering around his kingdom unaccompanied by guards or advisors. It's as if the entire kingdom is on permanent vacation, leaving Eric to fend for himself in the face of potential dangers, like, say, a vengeful sea witch. Talk about poor governance. We also need to address Ariel's swift mastery of human language. After trading her voice to Ursula, she somehow manages to learn to read, write, and communicate using sign language in a matter of days. It's an impressive feat, to be sure, but one that strains the limits of believability. Did Ariel secretly attend night school for human language studies? Or is she simply a linguistic prodigy? In the end, The Little Mermaid is a whirlpool of enchanting absurdities, an undersea adventure that defies logic at every turn. So grab your swim fins and dive into the laughter as we celebrate this aquatic Disney classic, where reality is as fluid as the ocean and anything is possible, no matter how preposterous. And remember, the seaweed is always greener when you're laughing along with Ariel and her fin friends.